I'm trying to keep up with current events as best as I can. That's not an easy task these days. But what we've seen now for the last 2 months in southern Ukraine on the Russian side is effectively what I would call an economy of force mission. Most of the regular army, in fact, all the regular army combat troops, and there were never more than 80,000 of them in Ukraine to begin with, have been largely withdrawn. And they have been replaced by a little over 50,000 troops who are very good fighters, by the way, but we would call them either volunteers or mercenaries or National Guard types, reserve formations, principally the Chechens commanded by Kadyrov. And you have some Kuban Cossack organizations. You have the Wagner mercenary groups, if you will. The Wagner fighters and the Chechens are absolutely first rate. Their mission is very simple. We're putting you on the periphery in a defense of southern Ukraine, the areas that we now occupy as Russians, that we've now annexed. We want you to defend them, but you're under no obligation to defend to the last man or to defend every inch of terrain. You are free to withdraw whenever necessary in order to find more defensible terrain, because your real mission is to drag in as many Ukrainian forces as you can and destroy them, principally with artillery, air power, and long-range strike weapons. And that's what's been going on. And the kill ratio has been, up until now, for every one Russian soldier or Russian volunteer, Chechen, whatever, in southern Ukraine that's wounded or killed, and there are very few being killed, 5 to 6 Ukrainians are killed or wounded. And that ratio seems to be improving in favor of the Russian side every day. But what we have is an attempt by the Ukrainians. They're throwing virtually everything they have, including the kitchen sink, into this. Almost 300,000 people, of whom maybe 30,000 are really very well trained. And they're concentrating 40 or 50,000 whenever they can in a relatively narrow zone against perhaps 3, 4, 5,000 Russian troops. And in some cases, they're succeeding in pushing them back, but in the process, they're losing 40 to 50% of the attacking force, and they can't replace the equipment. And what happens is that they move perhaps 20 miles